Day 28, 30-day yapping challenge. I didn't miss the day, but I won't make the upload tonight. I had quite the day. I got into it with my dad, and I said some things that were unnecessary to say, and people can be rather awful, and they are sometimes. But what I realize is when you stoop down to their level, the love goes away. It becomes war. War is good for absolutely nothing. So I called my dad, and I apologized to him. My dad is daddy issues. I keep thinking that I'm the one that's going to change my dad, because I used to live my life a certain kind of way, and sometimes I fall back, right? But I see the error of my ways. I see what I did wrong, and I make the effort to do better. You make a mistake, see what you can do to fix it and move forward. Can't really harbor too much on what those people think about you afterwards. What they say behind your back, how they truly feel on the inside, because I got things I think about, Today I'm off the couch. My mom, she went apartment hunting. So we were staying with my brother for about 2 months, and to wake up to somebody in your living room every day for 2 months, I mean, that's got to be difficult. But they let it fly, no less. But my mom, she put together this apartment, and she offered me to live with her. And initially I said no. I wanted to either stay on my brother's couch or just go back to being homeless. But nobody thinks that's a good idea. I'm just so lost. All I can do is go with the flow. I know that God is real, and He really wants the best for me, despite how much I, work against Him. I strive against, reprove and perfection. I know that He's got a fantastic plan. But whether or not I was moving in with my mom, I still had to help her move. And the issue with that is I had been drinking the night before, and I was engaging in negative behavior, which I believe opened up the hole in my immune system to allow me to get sick. And I had this dream, just a wonderful dream. I don't really know what it was about, but I was getting paid. It was a wonderful dream. It was sweet. Everything was on the up and up. But I couldn't stay in the dream. I kept waking up because my head was hurting and my body was aching, and it was hard to swallow. So I'm hoping if I tell my mom, I don't think I'll be living with you, she'll just leave me alone. But she needed help. Today was the only day possible that it can be done. So I rest up as much as I can. I get up, start loading up the truck. Painful. all night painful. Still, I'm not, whole. I'm getting better minute by minute. So it takes us 2 trips. One to get everything out of the house, and the other one to get everything out of the storage unit. And I freaking did it, man. I had the aid of some music. Shout out to SZA, that blue album that she has. Jordan was the one who put me on that song. It was just so, feminine, girly, unabashedly girly. And I figured I'd listen to it. And I got through the work. And we finished the first load doing the storage unit first. And I didn't know how much I had left in the tank. I load the truck up, I unload it at the apartment. And then we get back to the house. And I tell my mom, I don't know how much left I have in the tank. She says, well, the truck needs to be returned at 9. So I couldn't detect any wiggle room or compromise, so got up again, part 2 of my killing spree. And I didn't eat all day. I was just hurrying. I do think that there's, I don't really know what to say. They're telling me to watch my language, but I don't see anybody as terrible people. I see them all as people. We just don't understand each other, So I don't think I'm evil for the past that I have. I don't think I'm evil. My father's evil, my mother, nobody. I mean, people will really, really be tapped into that evil and commingle together. So they're stuck together, but it seems like. But that's not them. You know what I mean? That's what I have to keep reminding myself. It's not them. And to lead with love. I was telling my father the story about my nephews that I told you guys the other day. And he got defensive because where I could have done something, traumatic and over the top to those children, I didn't. And the kids, they listened eventually, got the job done. And my dad, he didn't do that to us. So he thought I was just throwing his past in his face. So he begins to bring up about how, his kids, they did terrible things to him, his wife. And that's the thing about the blame game is it doesn't do anything. You can point as many places as you want, and create like a fortress. But a fortress is isolation. You're cut off from real information. And everybody sees you up there and they know exactly what's going on. And you're just stuck. And I don't never want to be that. I don't want to be that. I am who I am. I am who I am. I hope you guys are all doing okay. This world is, I don't know what's going on, I'm just kind of looking up, making sure no massive donuts drop on my head. I'll avoid the donuts and get the mystery box, get something good out of there, because I know there's good things in store, I just it's so hard. I'm thinking for it to be this hard, there's got to be an other side. It just has to be. And I have already experienced the other side. I'm the one that really, turned away. And I don't know that staying with God means that, these awful things don't happen. You see what happened to Job. But there's a lot of stuff that we can avoid, a lot of suffering that we can avoid if we operate in love. And that's one thing that the Bible as a whole is explaining to me, all these different stories, all these different people, these situations, just one move and everything is destroyed, or you just have faith and you do the right movements and suddenly you're sitting on high above all places. And I've been to some places, I've been to some high places even by request, but I feel like God is telling me that's not even as high as you can go. And my heart begins to speed up because I can't even begin to fathom how, how God works. You know how he works, man. You literally start crying because it's like, I honestly thought you weren't gonna do anything, and he does, But I'm learning right now to enjoy the journey. I used to drive a Kia Stinger. I used to drive a Chevy Tahoe. I drove a pretty nice Infiniti. And now I don't have any car. I've got 2 DUIs, a felony. And I've seen some highs. Now we're dipping into the lows. See what that looks like. And it's my consciousness in there, just observing things, smelling things, talking to people, asking good questions, experimenting, taking notes. And I'm enjoying the adventure, wherever it takes me, whether it puts me back under a bridge or in a mental facility behind bars. Now I'm sleeping on the second bedroom on the floor of my mom's new apartment. God has got me. I've never had. He never let me go too far off. It was always like just right there. And I am grateful, I'm so grateful for the Most High waking me up and just allowing me the opportunity to be myself unabashedly, And there's still more that I can do. There's always more that you can do. But, the suffering that I didn't have to carry, I let it go. A lot of it, I'm working on it. But now I can take that mental energy and put it somewhere else. Transmutation. I'm so happy for that God has a plan. For me, he's got a plan for everybody. I don't know what the plan is. That's why, I think about giving people advice, but the advice that I can give them is so bogus. It's like, patience, lead with love, and it will work out. God is the creator of life. I don't want you thinking about the God in the Bible necessarily, the one that's killing everybody, but the whole concept of creation. Like, God didn't make himself a billion bucks, He saw things that were so good, and he's like, this has to. We gotta do more of this. We gotta spread so much love and spread so much, There's more to life, you know what I'm saying? More life. So I'm gonna get some sleep. Thank you for listening. God's got us. Good night.